Good evening, friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is officially it's not Halloween, but you know what I mean. So just to introduce the video really quick, I have the incredible opportunity to partner with Sexy Hair. It's something that I haven't really ever done before on my YouTube channel. And I'm gonna show you guys how I got the hair and the makeup. If you guys don't know, I am a licensed hairdresser. Not a lot of people know that, but yeah, it's been about 10 years since I went to hair school. So I got to partner with Sexy Hair to bring you guys a little bit of the full circle, like how to get the full look. So if you're interested in any of the stuff that I use in this video, all the links will be down in the description box, and definitely subscribe to keep up to date with more Halloween videos. I got a bunch for you. Okay, well, so without further ado, let's just jump right in.
All right, first things first, get your hair out your face. And this dangly guy. So first thing you want to do is you want to take a nude or a white pencil. I'm using a nude one. And what you're essentially going to do is you're going to map out almost the entirety of the full makeup. I do this so I can stay focused, and it also helps you dictate kind of the lines on your face, because of course, like when you have an idea or a concept in your brain, it doesn't always translate onto your face. So you guys can see here that like I'm removing lines and I'm adding some, and I'm just kind of trying to get the best idea I can of the final shape right off the bat, and then this will keep me focused, and it will essentially act as a guideline, and you won't get lost because you'll follow it like an extreme paint by numbers. So you guys can see here that I'm just outlining the entirety of the pop art zombie, and if you guys are new to this, you guys can just take a screenshot in a second of like what I came up with at the end, if you guys just want to like recreate that exactly like that. Cool. So now I'm taking these two pink colors. I was debating between them. I ended up going with the one on the left. And you want to just take a small, you guys can see it's like a flat brush. It's similar to a lip brush, but it's a little bit wider. And I'm using that brush to my advantage because you can really get into all those nooks and crannies. Since we are painting around all of these white lines, you only want to paint the skin pink. So essentially just follow all of that paint by numbers and just paint the whole face. And then essentially I'm just going to do what I did on the left on the right side so I don't bore you guys to death. And you should look something like that. Now I'm taking a cream white. The pink that we used is a water activated face paint. And then this is a cream face paint. So I'm using this to highlight, and because they blend beautifully on top of water-based paints. So I am just taking it on the traditional high points where that you would normally do in beauty makeup, and I'm just applying it to all of those areas. And then I'm going to buff it out with my finger. And then you're going to start seeing a lot of dimensions start to come. I like to do this step by step for two reasons. One reason is that since we're only working with the pink, I don't have to worry about blending out into other areas. So like essentially I don't have to worry about the cheekbone white blending down into the teeth or any of these holes because they're not done yet. So I like to put the dimension in first. So right now we're just going to go in and highlight on all the high points of the high points of the face, and then we're going to go in and contour. So I'm also doing that same thing to the top of the white skin. Since we want this to be raised and we want this to come forward with the eye, you want to highlight the tip of that, and that will make it look above the yellow-orange skull that we're going to put beneath it later on. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So yeah, boom. Look at how much dimension we have already. Cool. So now I'm taking this deep pink purple color, and I'm going to contour in the same places that we would normally traditionally do in beauty. So I'm starting off with the bridge of the nose right into that brow bone. I'm just doing it a lot heavier than you normally would. And then we're also going to take that onto the contours of the cheekbones. Again, why I do this step before is because now I don't have to worry about that contour spilling over into these teeth, because if these teeth were finished, they would have been stark white. So it would have, I like to give myself a little bit more freedom to kind of work without having to worry about other areas. So kind of doing one step at a time, if that makes sense. But you guys also see that I'm dragging that shadow around the jawline, and then also pulling it down right here to create a little bit of a sunken in look on the side that is a little bit more exposed to make it, look a little more dead, a little malnourished. I can't, guys. I'm gonna keep this in. Why not? We all struggle. Since all of the white we put on is a cream paint, it will slip and slide unless you set it. So I'm going to take a white eyeshadow now, and I am setting that. And you guys can see in the corner, both of the palettes that I'm using in this tutorial are the Norvina palettes, the purple and the orange one. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. I just don't know their names. I don't even know if they are named. I haven't been able to kind of play with new stuff because it's been Halloween shooting like crazy. But I'm also taking that white to help blend out the contour too, that darker pink. So now the next few steps are relatively the same as what we just did with pink, but now we're just switching up the color that we're using. So now I'm going with an orange and a similar shaped brush, and I'm just using that to fill in all of the hole and the gum area on the face. Using a nice oval-shaped brush will help you save a lot of time in the long run because the shape of the brush is working with you, so you guys can actually just get the product, place it right there, and then you'll get that perfect U shape. It's great. And then don't forget the gum area right up in here, right above the teeth and below the teeth. And also, if you guys just like want to be homies and like totally just ignore that part of the makeup, I've been trying this new thing where I grow out my mustache and my chin longer than the rest of my facial hair, like some Orlando Bloom type stuff. And I like couldn't shave it for this video because I feel so ugly. So the makeup suffered, but don't forget to do the forehead. And look at that hair. And here's a great example of actually the brush shape and a little body position. And like, just to really be able to hug it right in there, to get the right brush shape was really important. And it'll definitely help you in the long run, especially if you're doing a makeup look like this and you don't have a lot of time. It helps save you time. With the forehead painted, I didn't really love the shape that I came up with. So I'm taking a makeup wipe and I'm kind of jaggeding that edge. I wanted something a little more asymmetrical. And then I'm just removing it from the forehead. You know, whatever, no rules. So now I'm taking a yellow face paint and I'm going to apply that to the center of all of the orange that we did. The only thing that's different is right here at the top of what will be the skull. I'm just highlighting that top ridge. Since we are going to be placing a brain even that's going to appear underneath that, you want to get that highlight right at the tip so the skull appears above the brain and then the skin appears above the skull. Do you hear me? That trifecta, that's what we're going for. But you just want to use that yellow face paint just to highlight all these areas to get some like lava McDonald's vibes. And then we're going to go in and contour like we did. So the only thing that's different from the pink that we're doing with the orange is that I'm using a water activated face paint to highlight instead of a white because I don't want it to be stark white. I want it to just be a little white. But at the forehead, however, I am going to use a white because I want that edge to really pop. You know? You know. Also, guys, take notice that I'm not highlighting the entire forehead. It's not one straight white line. It has higher peak points, and that'll help sell a little bit more realism because it won't be just like a straight white line. It'll have texture to it and movement to it. You want the makeup to bend. Do you know what I'm saying? I need to stop saying that. I need new words. Anyway, your finger's the best tool for cream makeup, in my opinion. All right, Brown Town. Let's do it. I'm taking this brown eyeshadow now, and I'm struggling to find out where to place my hand. But with that Anastasia brush that comes with the Anastasia palettes, I'm obsessed with them. I'm not kidding. I'm taking that brown eyeshadow and I'm just going to hug it right where the skull meets the skin. And I'm going to just press and then flick. You guys can see like press and flicking, and that's going to give me that nice gradient where you have that deeper brown closer to the pink, and then it blends out with one swoop, and then we can go in and blend it after. But I'm doing it again here around the skull, and you guys see I'm like press, swooping, press, swoop, press, swoop, press, swoop, press, you know? That's like a really nice technique to blend quickly. When you're doing face paints and body paints like this, sometimes you need to get shadow, and you need to get shadow in a lot of areas on the body. So you want to, I try to find techniques that help me blend fast. So we're just going to do that to the entirety of the face. It's the same thing that we did with the pink shading, but instead of using a darker pink, we're using brown. So you want to just hug it. You guys can see that gradient. It looks so nice. And then it really starts to separate from the pink, and then it starts to sink in deeper into the skin to sell that illusion that this is kind of the skull peeking out of the pink skin. You know? And then also do around the mouth and any areas that are orange. Now I'm going to grab a liquid eyeliner, and we're going to outline all of what we just did with the orange and the shading and stuff, and that's going to make it really pop. I'm using the liner by Haus Laboratories. It has a really fine tip in its earlier stages of use. Unfortunately, when I use any felt tip eyeliner, because I love detail work like this, I just use so much more product than a wing eyeliner demands. So I definitely recommend this eyeliner. However, it does start to poop out on me during this tutorial, so I switch it. But you're just going to take the black line from this liner, and you're just going to outline all of the holes. And then once you get the majority of the hole, you can create these like kind of cracks, which I think really kind of like sell like the tears, you know? I think it's really cool. It's a very traditional pop art style. I didn't invent it, but I like it a lot. I'm also taking this liner too. I did the nose with the felt tip eyeliner, and then I switched over to a black gel eyeliner because it's not as shiny, and I'm filling in the nose with that because I want a little bit more matte, since this is the illusion, or giving the illusion this is like a hole. I don't have a schnoz at all. You want it to be matte. And then I'm doing this like super body contortioning because I want to do the tip of the nose sharp. So I just like flip me one of these and then create the straight, more jagged lines at the tip of the nose. Because if you go any lower, it just looks really thick because you push on the brush too much. So definitely feel free to get all contortiony. It's one of the challenges of filming tutorials, to be aware of where your hand is and you're not covering the makeup, which I do often because it's really hard to get tiny lines. But that same gel eyeliner that I used for the nose, I'm also filling in my eyebrows, just my natural shape, just a little bit blockier. And you just want to create, just kind of big old brows. you know? And now I'm taking a white face paint. This one is water activated, so we don't have to set it. And I am just creating like a little bit of teardrop shape. So you guys can see that I'm like pressing to get each edge clean because I want a nice clean line. And then I'm using this brush sideways to create that tip, which wasn't originally drawn in when we outlined the design in pencil. It's just something that you can easily just add in once doing this. So you just want to create all of the teeth. And then again, remember, we're homies. We're not going to look at the front, okay? And then to close up shop on the mouth area for now, I'm just taking that same eyeliner, or actually I think this is a different one. This is when it pooped on me. And I'm just outlining the teeth. And then once you have most of the teeth outlined, you want to just take a black gel eyeliner, same one I use on the nose, and just fill in where the teeth, the spaces between the teeth. And then this is where I totally went wrong in the front, but don't look at it, remember? Cool. I'm so glad we're friends. After adding all of this black, I'm realizing how strong and harsh the black is, so I wanted to contour the pink a little bit more. So I'm taking that same purple eyeshadow that we use, and I'm just adding more to the areas in which we shaded, and that's going to start giving you even more movement, because it really wasn't strong enough to compete with all of these black lines. So I wanted to just enhance them further, which is just like a good step that, like, you know, it's kind of like play as you go, like, you know, hold out until the end. It'll be great, I swear. For you, I'm not calling my own work great. I'm trying to be a humble queen. Anyway, I was going to do some eye makeup off camera because that saved time in this video, and I pretty much just went with a regular smoky eye. Nothing crazy. And now I'm just going to take that same black eyeliner, and we're going to outline the mouth. Like so. And then I'm going to create a little bit of like a smile, like a little Joker hook. And then with the same yellow face paint that we used to highlight the center of the holes, I'm going to fill my lip in with that, and then realize that I hate it, and then put a little bit of a gold pigment on top to add like a little bit of sparkle, which you guys can see me doing right here. And then with a black eyeshadow, I'm going to just feather that black line and diffuse it into that gold because it was looking a little too harsh. Okay, and now we're getting to the blue. I wasn't sure what color to do the brain, so I was like choosing between these two blues. I didn't know what color at all, and I ended up choosing blue. But your eyes are going to just apply that blue in that last center section, just so. Just fill it in, fill in the blank. Relatively straightforward, I'd say. So I started to shade it with a black or a gray eyeshadow, and it didn't really seem to be working out. But I wanted to keep it in the video for you guys to show you guys how to correct it. So you guys can see here that the shadow is really patchy, and it's just like, it's not smooth, and I wanted it to be a bit smoother. So I'm going in with a cream white, and I am going to apply that like we did, and then I'm blending it out, and that's going to right into those shadows, and that's going to help soften that line. And then once that's nice and blended out, I'm going to take a white eyeshadow to set it, and that will help diffuse into that gray eyeshadow too. And that'll just like, that's just a way that you guys can like quickly, you know, if you guys goof up, all is fine. Don't panic. I used to panic earlier in my career, and I was like, oh my god, I suck at makeup. No, just like switch the brush, it might be okay. So now I'm taking a black, what's this called? A black felt tip eyeliner, and I'm just going to line the separation where the skull meets that blue brain, and then we'll take a bit of navy blue eyeshadow. It's essentially like the color of denim, and we're going to use that to blend out that black. And you guys can see that I flipped actually that Anastasia brush around, and now I'm using the fluffy blending side, and you guys can see that that shadow is so much smoother, thank the Lord. And now I'm going in with the black liner again, and I'm just going to create these little swirl marks that will just be like the kind of contours and movement in the brain. And then with that same navy blue eyeshadow, we are going to place that on that black line to help diffuse those out, and then it'll add a little bit more dimension, so some parts look higher than others. You know? Yeah, you guys know. We're OG homies, most of you. So now I'm just going to switch over to the body. I'm just going to do this really quickly because it is relatively repetitive from everything else, and I am just creating the bone. And then once you have the bones placed, you guys can do it however you want. I just wanted to do a couple bones because I wanted the face to be more of the hero instead of doing a whole body piece because I have like a million Halloween tutorials I wanted to film. But you guys can definitely add more bones and more texture and dimension. But once you guys got that done, just create the hole that it will be a part of, and then paint by numbers the skin to just match the face. Basically, I'm trying to like find a roundabout way of saying that like I totally gave up towards the end. I wanted to include this too because the brush I'm using is too small. It's a small blending brush. You guys can see it's really patchy and poo-poo nene. So I switched over to this larger blending brush. I think this is for blush, and it smoothed it out so much better. So switch up the tools. You're not a bad makeup artist. You might just be using the wrong brush. You know? Okay, so that can pretty much concludes like the body makeup, and then let's go on to the hair and how to get like super texture sexy hair. So my first thing is my favorite product for my sexy hair ever, and it's Powder Play, and I'm applying that in every section of my hair, right at the base, but then also like at the mid strands as well. And what this does is it adds a lot of tack and texture and a little bit of shine, but it really helps sell that wild hair that I just love, and you guys can see that I'm rocking often on the internets. And we'll just move that product in, and it starts to really create texture and hold, and your hair will like literally stay exactly where you place it. So I'm just kind of shaping it, and then finishing off with Surfer Girl, which is a dry texture spray to add a little bit more texture and hold. I like texture and hold without shine. I like low shine. I'm a low shine girl. But that concludes this video, my friends. Hopefully you look something like this. If you guys recreate this look, definitely tag me on social. I would love to see it. And definitely subscribe if you're not already, because this look might come with a couple's costume coming out later this week, maybe? I don't know. Subscribe and see. I love you guys so much. Happy Halloween. It's finally October, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.